today we're going to be talking about online meeting software. What do you have for us, Bob?
So it's funny you say online. Do you have to throw that in?
Yeah, it's like my mom would say, well, how's your little band group doing? I'm like, Mom, it's a band. It's not a band in a group. It's band group.
But you're saying online meeting software. It's like, is there offline meeting software? Like we physically show up in a conference room and we have conference room software?
You're going to be offline soon. Click.
Okay, so yes, we're talking about online video meeting software.
With cheese.
Here's a stat for you. 52% of professionals spend 15 hours minimum in meetings. Right?
I think I did that today so far.
Yes, right. Yes, you and I. So out of all those people, that's only 52% 15 hours. That means 75% spend 14 hours, right? So there's a lot of time spent. So has anyone had a video meeting yet? Yeah, of course we have, right? We that's all we do every day now. It is an absolute staple. And Josh, I wanted you to speak before we start on the software. I wanted you to speak about the Zoom and how it became a verb.
Oh yeah. Zoom, really not the first. I don't think it's the first incarnation of the software, but it became the go-to. It's kind of like Googling. Google became the term for searching. Zoom became the term for, the online meeting. And it's funny because now I'm not using it, and there's so many other tools out there, but I still say it. Someone will go send me a Zoom meeting, and I'm like, are they going to know what this is if I send them something that says something else? Like I'm now sending them a Meet, but today I sent them a Microsoft Teams, and then I sent them a this, and I'm like, are they going to understand what it is? I'm thinking they won't click my email because it's not a Zoom.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. I remember when this first kicked off, right? Because of the pandemic, right? When this first all started, when somebody would send me something that wasn't Zoom, because that's all I used.
Yeah.
I would immediately go on a Teams, Microsoft Teams, and test it. Right? Yeah. Because there's websites where you can go test it, and I test where's the audio settings? Because I couldn't find it. When I'm in a meeting, I panic, a new meeting. And so I would go in and test it, and they have all become quite a bit better now. But you're right, Zoom is what everybody knows they're going to Zoom. So we're going to talk about 4 pieces of software, but I want to finish on Zoom real quick. So this is what I've noticed with Zoom is that the meeting software that companies use are, in my opinion, incorrectly determined from the IT department, not operations, right? So it's IT is saying, hey, we use this ecosystem, or we have these kind of equipments, and we're going to make a deal with Zoom because of this, without talking to the mass of the company who has to be in these 14 plus hours of meetings every single week. And so it reminds me back in the day, I'm curious if you had this problem where web development literally mostly was in the IT department. When I was at the casino, Josh, we're talking $1 billion company with multiple locations. Our web development was in the IT department. And we were marketing. Casino is a marketing company. It's data and marketing. It's all we do, right? And we would have to put in an IT request, as if my mouse isn't working and I have to put in an IT request in order to get some web stuff. And then IT department would be like, yeah, I don't see any need for that. You're going to have to, wait until we upgrade something or whatever. We don't have a Python developer. We don't have this. And so I see that now with video meeting software. I'm sorry, with online video meeting software. I don't want to use you.
You better be clear.
Yeah, I am. So
on the web.
With that said, IT is the IT perspective, of course, is important because we need things to work, but it shouldn't be driving the bus. And I see a lot of organizations that use, Zoom because they use Zoom. That's what everybody uses. That's what they use. And so you and I have used them all, just like everybody else. They get in a meeting with company A, B, or C, and they're using software A, B, and C. And so you've experienced the different kinds. But Josh, I wanted to talk about the four main ones and see what your thoughts are. And the first one is start with Zoom. What are some of the pros and cons that you see with Zoom?
Zoom, I mean, well, Zoom, other than most people have it loaded and they already have the app in, like, integrated either in their phone, because it's, you know, it has a plug-in function to it, so it has to be plugged in, and which I know because when I won't have used it for a while, it has to update every time.
That's one of my cons.
Crazy. Yeah, it's happened today. I had a meeting. I was jumping from one meeting to the next, and I was 5 minutes late because there was a 5-minute update. And the other ones we're going to discuss, I don't run into that. So
yes, at all. Only Zoom.
Yeah, and I don't even know why the back end is so clunky anymore. So to me, it's clunky. So that's just me. But there's others out there that I find clunkier. I can throw them under the bus later. But
you can. But Josh, you and I talked earlier about some other software, and you had mentioned the importance of liking what you're in.
Yes.
Liking being in. Zoom, to me, I don't like being in there.
Yeah, it hasn't changed. It hasn't adapted. The portal's still the same. They don't have, if you're in a larger group, if you have like 5 or 6 people, it doesn't have the options, or it may have them buried somewhere. I just can't. Its ease of use isn't as easy as I find some of the new ones. The new ones, and it's kind of like, I don't want to say Uber and Lyft. It's kind of like when somebody comes out and I feel bad for Zoom, because it's like they come out as they bring it to the masses, and then someone goes, "Oh, thanks for the code. We're gonna make your product better." And but hey, that's how the world works.
No, I don't feel bad for them, because they got some of the largest corporate contracts. I work for the largest university in the country, and they got that contract, and I'm like, yeah, okay. 6 months later, there should be an update.
Was that Trump University? Trump University, was that the largest? Oh, right.
Yeah, we have a steak major, a vodka major.
You said it was the biggest. I figured it had to be Trump University.
It's the biggest.
Yeah.
Big league. And what happened is, even to this day now, years later, it's like, I feel like I'm in the same Zoom from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like the look is the same. It feels like 1990, Anyway, so Zoom has some good features, but I do find that it is incredibly clunky, and that update, dude, just annoys the crap out of me.
Yeah.
It's always that time when you're like, oh, I'm a minute late.
Yeah.
And then it's like, we need to update. I'm like, can I choose not to and do it tomorrow,
And it's like your dog eating your homework. Nobody believes it.
Right.
My software was updating. By the way, use that one. It works. My software was updated.
Oh, I'm writing that one down. My software.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to move on to Microsoft Teams.
Yes, that was the one I was going to throw under the bus. Because
go ahead, throw it.
Next to Zoom, I hate that one. It's the evasive nature of that one. Like, if I'm not in the Microsoft ecosphere at the time, if I don't have Office on, and like if I don't have it already active, it like has to load, and it's got a long load time and a lag. And talk about the dashboard, I don't like it at all.
No.
And again, have some large government contracts, probably
Huge.
For a reason. The IT deal, there's probably some serious tech behind it, and there's probably they probably have the best. I'm guessing tech guys, don't hold me to this, but I bet you they have the best security encryption. I'll put money on that. I bet they do.
Okay, so Josh has got money on that. Josh, we talked about how the IT department sometimes drives the bus in these decisions.
Yeah,
that's why Microsoft Teams is as popular as it is because so many large organizations are in the Microsoft ecosystem. It's like,
there's lots of things I like about Microsoft, but that's not.
That's not one of them. And with Teams, you and I have commented on this. The quality's worse. It's choppier. It's blurrier. It's just consistently worse.
I had a court thing I had to do on Zoom once.
And Zoom? Are you using Zoom as the verb or the specific?
No, not Zoom. Yeah, I did. I just screwed it up. I had a court thing I had to do on Microsoft Teams, and it was like, oh my God, they use this? It was
right?
like really important too. It was like an important hearing, but there were other people involved, and like it was like no one could get in, and I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. It was
one of the largest corporations in the world, and you use Teams, and it feels like yeah, like little janky.
Yeah.
So we have a company that we partner with, Josh, and when we meet with them, they bring us employees and stuff, and I meet with them fairly regularly last few months, and they use Teams, and I'm getting to know. I know you know him personally. I'm getting to know him better, and I'm going to tell him, like, dude, we do this. I know you do this with clients all over the country, but it's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm in meetings like you and I know we were joking today. We have like 6 or 7 meetings today, right?
Yeah.
And most of it was in our world. So it was all at the time. Today we use Google Meet and Zoho, right?
And I had a Zoom. Yeah.
And so I'm going to tell him, I'm going to say, hey, dude, you need to consider, because, you're doing these important first impression, and it's so choppy, and there's people from different parts of the world, communicating.
Yeah.
And Teams is just falls short. So real quick, Teams is clunky looking, I think. It's choppy, and overall it just doesn't feel good to be in it. So with that said, what did you and I fall in love with the last 6-7 months?
Oh, Google.
Google Meet. Yep.
Yeah, Google Meet. And Google Meet, for if you've never used it, Dean's always been a Google guy, and dragged me along kicking and screaming. Not because there's some aesthetic stuff of some of the other Google products that I just like, this doesn't do it for me. However, Google Meet, the video quality is far superior. It's just it's ease of use. It's like sharing screens, inviting people to a meeting. It's just so for Randall, what you should do is you should send him a meeting, have a meeting with him, and go, don't you like this better?
I was trying not to use his name, but I guess there's no reason not
and it's
to.
Free.
Yeah, I'm going to, because it's a really bad first impression, and the kind of organization that he has, and a lot of you out there have, is, hey, that first impression is important. And if you're choppy and you're using Teams, they're going to blame that on you. They're not going to say, oh, it's Microsoft. That's you're being choppy because you're too cheap to get good internet.
Choppy and clunky, a law firm you can trust.
I could just see that on a bus bench.
Yeah, choppy and clumpy.
Choppy and clunky. With a big eagle.
But now, Dean, what have we started using today? And my first impression is it's pretty. I'm going to mess with it, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
So it's Zoho Meet, and so I liked it quite a bit too. And before we get too far, I do want to comment that I noticed that the video quality was smooth, but it was not as high definition, I think, as Google Meet. And I tried to look at it, say, well, do I have a bigger window? So I think I was trying to compare apples to apples, but again, I've only used it several times. And
I'm gonna have to check it too. And I haven't used it like a one-on-one either. I've been in large groups with it, so I didn't get to play with it, and they were all serious meetings where I couldn't monkey with stuff.
No, I wanted. We were being trained on it.
I wanted to change the backgrounds. And
that's what I want to do. But I'm like, if I do that, everybody's going to know I'm not paying attention to the presentation. Yeah. So I do want to play around with it more, but I want to bring up two things about Zoho Meet and Google Meet. So one of the things Google did really well with Meet, and that we liked it, is our team, which we have people all over the world, we constantly have a quick ad hoc meeting. Right. And so we're using Google Chat, and it's like, hey, Josh, you got 2 minutes, jump on a Meet. And there's a button right there. So I just click on it, and boom, we're both in that Meet. I don't have to email a link or send an
loading.
invite.
Yeah. And there was no loading.
It's really slick.
Like,
and so
you're on. Yeah.
And Zoho has a really good integration with everything else Zoho. You and I today, we were playing with Zoho Notes, how it's integrated with Meet. And, there's a lot more to it. And it is pretty easy when you're in chat. You want to switch over to a video meeting. So it does work really well.
Yeah.
So, Josh, can you think of what industries, if any, do you think should use one of these over another?
Oh, my gosh. That's a tough question. Again, because I bet you there's security encryption issues with different industries, but I mean, anybody that's just collaborating, it should just be Google Meet. I mean, there's no if you're not having, even the record function, I mean, everything's there.
That's a good point. One of the things a lot of people like about Zoom is they'll use it for recording, not even a meeting. They'll use it for other recording needs because there's a good set of functionality. But I don't find the quality for the recording. For Microsoft Teams, I don't know. I've never recorded, but I will say, Josh, that you and I have used Google Meet to record stuff, and it definitely was a lower quality.
Yeah, it challenges it. It's compressing.
Yeah, so the integration and the way it automatically emails you and I the final thing is really slick, and it's nice, and it saves some time. But I was a little disappointed on the quality.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of data compression, and there might be something in there to tweak somewhere in a higher version or something, but I haven't come across it.
So I'm gonna go back to something we talked about for another piece of software. Zoho Meet is one of Zoho apps within their suite of about 40 apps, and it's inexpensive. And the nice thing about it is it integrates with everything else. So as you decide, well, let me use this other app from Zoho and this other app, at some point really quick, the price point gets to the reaches a point where you just get Zoho One, which is everything. And I mean, you and I are constantly like pleased and amazed that it's so reasonable.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them.
Everything there.
Yeah, it really does. There's so many cool tools.
So with that said, I'm giving my thumbs up to Zoho Meet first, Google Meet second, and honestly, the other two, I just
get up with the times. No, again, I'm willing to bet that Microsoft is due to the encryption. Like, again, using it for courtrooms, using it for, I'm sure there's some kind of like reason there. Same with Zoom might have some of that as well.
Yeah, but that's my point is let's say the encryption is top notch, right? Let's say it leads the pack. That's the IT department saying we're already in the Microsoft ecosystem. They've got the best encryption. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But is the experience for, if you take some government entity like, Maricopa County, is the experience for, I don't even know, 20,000, probably more employees, is it worth the 1% better encryption if that's what it would be?
Yeah.
I feel like oftentimes all the users are secondary. Like we're going to take this one thing, and this is the most important thing, and we don't care that it's terrible to use.
I've been a part of so many companies that dealt the hypothetical problem was the holdback for all things.
Yeah,
like because of this one thing that happened one time.
Let's manufacture an obstacle.
Instead of building around, just going, when that happens, this is our solution to that. Otherwise, go.
And so one of the things that always bugs the hell out of me, Josh, is the CAPTCHA.
Yeah.
Like, as a user, we shouldn't be the ones having to secure your system, right? And so sometimes when you just do the checkbox, I'm not a robot, right? Whatever. It takes a fraction of a second. But the other ones, it's like, check all the street lights. I do it, and it's like, makes me do it again.
There was a blurry one in the left corner.
Yeah, right? And so then it's like, check all the squares that have a plane in it. And then, the one that gets me is check all the ones that have a bicycle in it. And sometimes they have a motorcycle, but it's a clip. And I'm like, is that a bike or a motorcycle?
Yeah, like a tip of the tire sticking in the other pane. You're like, they mean that pane too, don't they?
Yeah. And
I like the new ones. Have you seen the new one that spins? Where you spin two objects. You spin an object this way and this way to make the picture. I actually like that one. It's kind of
because they're gamifying it. I'll give them some credit.
Exactly.
The other ones with
the puzzle.
With the letters, EFJW76, and the E is stretched around. I'm like, well, that can literally be an E or a G. I'm not really sure.
Or my challenge with those are the capitals. You're like, is that an uppercase M or a lowercase? What is that? I don't know.
So the point is, don't make your problem your user's problem. And I feel like Zoom and Microsoft or IT departments are kind of taking priority of what they need to satisfy, and they're ignoring the masses.
when they should be worried about AI taking over the robots and destroying the world. And super volcanoes. That's what they should be worried about.
Let me know when we have AI volcanoes, because then I'm gonna be interested.
Oh man, AI volcano. Let's work on one of those.
You know what? You know how? I don't know if you noticed this, but on Netflix, when you're looking at movies, they'll update the artwork, right? Like every couple months on some of these obscure B movies
that you've
and you're
seen.
Like, ooh, this one looks good, right?
Wait, that's an awful movie. Yeah.
And then they'll also change the titles. Like I saw some sci-fi from Russia, and I'm like, oh, this one looks good. And then I put it on. I'm like, no, I watched. That was a different name. And then 2 months later, they changed the artwork and the title again.
I do that with my thumbnails on my YouTube page. Don't mock that.
Okay, I'm saying that
You've never seen
what
this
we
one.
should do is we should develop some screen art for AI volcanoes, because you know what? People are going to click on that. You know.
Yes.
The volcano that knows more than you.
What? How is that possible?
That was a terrible tagline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't erupt with your stupidity. No.
I got a good one for the Sci-Fi Channel. Volcano Comet. It's a comet that has a volcano on the tip of it coming towards Earth. Not only is it just a comet, it also has a volcano on the top. And
there's saber-toothed tigers that come down with it.
Yeah.
I say that because one of my favorite sci-fi movies, horrible, was Sabretooth, I think it was called.
Oh, there was some bad. Did you see the one that was a sharktopus or something? It was a shark and an octopus. Yeah.
Well, Sharknado was successful.
Yeah, so, but they were some of those are so awful.
Shark volcano, Sharkano.
Yeah. I used to just see him and go, who was talked into the money that was invested in the making of this? It's like, hey, I got this great idea. You have millions of dollars and you're stupid. You want to fund this? It's going to be huge.
And they do. And some of them make money. Sharknado was successful.
Yeah, that's like winning the lottery. You ever look at the straight to video? Well, they don't go straight to video on any straight to streaming ones that should like on those channels like Crackle and like the weird.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever gone through like Tubi and Crackle? And looked at them and you're like, or what is it, Pluto? And you look at the one, straight to video, and you're like, that's a thing.
But I am impressed though that we have all these streaming services. I'm like, oh, there's so much content, and then you look at some of those, and you're like, somebody's cranking out these movies, right? Yeah, it's
Cheryl Ladd's sister stars in. What? Her sister's an actor? Nope. Stars in.
So I'm going back now, Josh. So we're all in meetings, right? We need to make the best of it. We need good software. And again, you and I kind of focused on like, the quality of this and the usability of that. But one of the things real quick that we only touched on is integration. It is so nice to have a meeting that you can have shared notes automatically with the participants. So just take that one thing. Look for that when you're moving ahead with what software that you want to do, because it's pretty powerful and it makes the meeting more effective. Can I share one more stat with you, by the way?
Yeah, I love stats.
Okay, good. So, I told you 52% of professionals spend 15 hours or more a week in meetings. However, 17% of management says that management says that only 17% of meetings are productive. So what I'm saying is, let's use something that makes it more productive.
Yeah. What would this meeting be? 18.3% of the.
Wasn't a meeting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't have to come here.
No, and we're not even using any of these four anyway for this.
Oh, come on! There's some good stuff in here. Zencast. What's that? We never talked about Zencaster.
That's what we're using for this, but that's a different conversation. All right. Well, thanks, Josh. I'm just going to end it with Zoho Meet first, Google Meet second.
And nothing about buckets or pails or anything in this one?
No.
All right.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. We have to end like, hey, before you go and you jump into some software, we're always here. No charge. We'll just jump on a Zoho Meet or a Google Meet, and we'll give you our 2 cents.
And Dean, I'll type you up a nice letter on that typewriter behind you.
All right. Well, thanks everybody.
Bye.